The purpose of the captain is to look at the target and be aware that the entire ship is going there. Now, there is a big mistake also with leaders. The phrase leader, Simon Singh described it as one that lead, as a CEO or top executive, lead the organization forward. For me, leader is everyone in the business, the one that people looked at him and want to be like him because he brings an unbelievable results and he has the charisma to take people with him to the future.
Climbing up is a struggle, tension in the air. But the underdog prevails, we here to declare. To the top or the mountain where champions stand. Failures can't break us, we taking command. Yeah, it's a journey, climb to the peak. Scaling businesses, who it ain't for the weak. Growth is the game, we play it real tall. From the bottom to the summit, we rise, never fall. Interview the legends, success stories told. Risepreneurs, hearts made of gold. Strategies unfold, in the struggle grace. Hardship and challenges, yeah, we still embrace.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Risepreneur podcast, a show dedicated to all the entrepreneurs and business owners out there who's looking to increase valuation of their business, grow their business, scale their business, and ultimately exit. Today, we have a special guest with us, Dr. Amir Kahani. He's a serial entrepreneur, business mentor, author, keynote speaker, was a business consultant for over 15 years. So he's bringing tremendous experience to us. He's a go-to resource for anything in leadership, marketing, sales, and business development. Amir, say hi.
Hello, good afternoon. Thank you for inviting me here. And I do hope that I will be bringing a valuable insight for your customers, for your audience, and for all the ones that want to learn something.
I'm pretty sure you will, because based on conversations we had in the past,
Let's start.
It was always valuable.
Yeah.
So before we begin, as always, I would love audience and myself again, hear it from you about your journey, in short, when you were exposed to a business world, how you transitioned from being the go-to resource for all those concepts.
Thank you. I will try to summarize it because taking more than 40 years and to summarize it into a couple of sentences, it is really difficult, but I'll try to do my best. So first of all, I start my journey as programming at a university in a computer science department where in 1987, listen carefully,
Wow.
I wrote a solution that today we know it under the name of Google. The precise results, the precise program that Google, the precise results that we are seeking for Google, that's what I wrote back then. Following that, I move on to the business world and as a salesman, marketing, VP, CEO of startups. I had 2 startups, 1 exit. And down the road, I decided, it was around when I was 45, I decided to end my career in the high tech. And at once, I left my company, I sold it. And after 6 months, I found myself treating illness people, especially that they suffered from cancer, by using a Far East meditation. It was a great journey when I realized the value of the human life. So since then, I decided that my purpose is to inspire people, to inspire businesses, to produce something with a value impact on the society well-being, because our life is much more important than another dollar in my pocket. Now, I know it is a contrary concept, what is going on here in the United States. So then I moved on, after a couple of years of working in this field, I moved on to being a business consultant. And I came across Oren International, a leading business consulting firm that spread all over the world and bring an holistic approach, 360 degrees. And I lead one of the branches, I lead the operation. And 3 years ago, I decided that I move on and I came across a company here in United States, and nowadays I serve as a partner at this company named Keyideas. At Keyideas, we develop a solution for a sales team that support complex decisions by using a unique approach that combine analyzing data with our AI unique platform. And I also implement my unique business concept called triple win. Win for the seller, win for the buyer, and win for the entire world. I have a PhD in economy under the title of value-based pricing, something that unfortunately not many companies using. But I was able to demonstrate that businesses lose money because they are not working properly. And that's why I created my own concept, the triple win, and my own concept of value-based pricing. And after so many years, being served as a CEO, marketing, sales, everything, I and my PhD and my 2 books that I wrote and the third one that it's on the way, that's the source of knowledge that I bring. And again, I just summarize everything into a couple of sentences.
Yes. So we're going to dive into some of those.
Yes.
One of the things that we talked about in the past, I would love you to share with our audience about the UBC, Unique Business Contribution. Can you dive into that a little bit?
Yes, true. What actually happened nowadays is that almost all of the businesses, let's be a little bit, we'll take an advantage and say not 100%, but maybe 95% of the business organization. How business organization work today? The business itself, with the top executive, decided about the product, the pricing, the marketing, the sales strategy, everything. Yes, they are making marketing research and surveys, but in the end of the day, the business decide everything. Picture this. You enter into a coffee shop. You ask for a coffee. You got the coffee. What happened then? The coffee shop owner use 1 capsule of coffee. Mm-hmm. Then he send a request for his supplier, send me another capsule. Mm-hmm. And he sent to his supplier, I need another capsule. And so on, until the one that produced it got the request. It's a chain. Then I ask myself, what would happen if you wasn't entered to the coffee shop and order a coffee? Nothing will happen because there is no transaction. Based on this, we can understand that the most important person that are actually drive the business is the end consumer down the value chain. Meaning that businesses should analyze, understand, and fulfill the needs and wants of the end consumer down the value chain, working together with other organizations through the value chain. And by doing that, the end consumer get what he wants based on his request. The end consumer will buy more, that will buy more from you. That's why I change the perspective of businesses. Now, why I'm not using value? Value is not accurate definition. It depends on circumstances, on culture. The same glass of water that I can offer you right now, okay, you will pay $1. But the same glass of water, after a week in the desert, it's worth $1 million. So we cannot use the phrase value. That's why I create my own definition about UBC, unique business contribution, that emphasize. The UBC emphasize how you as a supplier will help, will assist the end consumer, and you will lift the entire value of the value chain. And by doing that, you can charge more, and everybody else through the value chain will earn more money.
So instead of just a value proposition, you changed it to UBC.
It's not a value proposition.
Because it's for that unique circumstance.
Because it is not defined. For you, someone can sell the same product to you and to me, and he will say, this is unique value proposition, but I will catch it indifferently. The unique business contribution is more financial terms. It is more accurate, that taking into account the end consumer needs and wants. So by looking from outside, inside, you will be able to do more businesses and to create more value to the entire value chain, and giving a different perspective, a different solution to the end consumer. By the way, when you create the UBC, you change the entire business structure, because you are not thinking and acting based on your point of view. You are working and acting through the end consumer point of view.
Can we give an example where there's a traditional perspective and how UBC would change the traditional perspective?
I will give you an example from a couple of weeks ago from one of my clients. Search in Google cybersecurity. Visit the top 5 well-known cybersecurity companies, and you will see in the end of the day that they are speaking the same. They are selling the same, each one in his own words, but the concept is the same. I work with a cybersecurity company from Orlando, and after I work with them, we changed completely their definition. Instead of selling cybersecurity and like the same, they decided, they phrase it like this. The company name, I will not share it, but the company name, they work with small and medium companies. One, they define the market target. Secondly, they emphasize the end results that the end consumer will gain. In their particular example, they assure to their client that their clients is infrastructure companies, their client, meaning the clients of my clients, what he will gain is less 10% downtime. All the work will be done based on the timeline. Then they emphasize their uniqueness. Then they emphasize their value. They're working based on trust and open conversation, open communication, and how they contribute to the world, that every dollar that they gain, 10% they invest in a homeless community. By combining all these elements, what their end consumer want, what his paying customer want, what he can bring, what his uniqueness, what his promise, and what he contribute to the world, there is completely different phrase about their solution.
Got it. So instead of just focusing on the features and benefits and how the product would benefit their customers, they went beyond that.
Yes.
Because they were able to narrow down on their market, they were able to know not only what they want to see, they also know who they're servicing and what they want to see.
Yes.
So they position the company as a hero in front of their customers because they're bringing all that value. In addition to that, they're showing how that whole interaction at the end will contribute intrinsically to homeless and so on.
I will take it a little bit deeper. First of all, they draw the current their paying customer situation, where he want to be, meaning what the customer should do in order that his customer will buy more from him, and they describe the journey and everything by storytelling. So I, the supplier, my clients, when I work with a company, I draw where they want to be. I explain the process. I explain what the end consumer will gain. I'm not talking about my solution.
Yeah.
Because it's only features. We as a consumer, we really don't care about the details. We want the end results. Everybody should think like this, end results. And by creating the UBC, that's the way that we do it.
So I guess one of the mistakes companies do, they make consumers think and they create tension on how the product could be possibly used. The details, I guess you're just focusing on end result. Flip a switch, produce me that result. That's what people at the end of the day want.
Today, most of the organizations sells features. I have a software that can, CRM for example, I will sell you a software that will help you to manage your customers. Okay, there are 10 like you? Why I should take you? What benefit you will give me that stated what you, my paying customer, will gain because his customer will be able to gain value that will help him in business, that his customer will gain, and so on and so on. Now, it's a little bit difficult to drawing in our mind. Anyhow, but just understand the chain. You, the selling organization, looking on the end consumer, you work with other parties on the value chain, working together to create a solution that brings more value to the end consumer. The end consumer buy more, the entire value chain lift its profit.
Wow, that's amazing. So it's stepping back and looking at the whole thing. My perspective prior to this, before you introduced it, was more like, okay, we have a CEO. CEO of the company has a board of directors. They have shareholders, investors. They have lenders. They have vendors. They have customers. They have their management. They have their specialists, all the teammates. So the CEO is like a conductor interacting with everybody, keeping in mind, okay, every entity needs to think this, needs to feel this, needs to do that, making sure everybody do their part, keeping everybody satisfied, and at the end, company should be still profitable. So here you adding another component. So it's not just people that I directly interact. It's also taking into consideration the whole chain.
The entire stakeholders.
And even beyond, I would say, like the first circle, right? It spills over endlessly until the end.
Yes, it's like a wave.
Yes.
And I would like to...
And plus you're taking the world into consideration.
Obviously, we live in this world.
Yes.
You mentioned the CEO rule. If a CEO, 80% of his time is only to synchronize the organization, for me, he is not a CEO. A CEO should taking care about only one thing.
Customers?
No.
Investors?
No. One thing. Where he want to be in the next 5 years. He should, the one that should take the ship to its destiny. The captain on the boat doesn't care about how fuel he has because he has someone that's in charge. The captain of the boat knows that he's in Miami and he should cross the ocean to another port, Napoli in Italy, lovely place. So the purpose of the captain is to look on the target and be aware that the entire ship is going there. Now, there is a big mistake also with leaders. The phrase leader, Simon Singh described it as one that lead, as a CEO or top executive, lead the organization forward. For me, leader is everyone in the business, even the youngest person, that he is the one that people looked at him and want to be like him because he bring an unbelievable results and he has the charisma to take people with him to the future. There are plenty of CEOs that they are not leaders. There are plenty of CEOs that they are only coordinate, technocrat. And there are plenty of CEOs that, because they are not working properly, they lose the direction, they lose the money, bankruptcy. And we spoke before about exit. If a CEO want to have, I don't know when, an exit, he should create a systematic sales and marketing organization behind him. And his goal is only one, to find the right investor. The top executive goal is to create this harmonic inside the organization. And those leaders that you find inside the organization, those are the ones that you should focus on, give them more power, because those are the ones that can take you to your future. So based on my philosophy, on my concept, we are not working properly.
So most of the CEOs, I'm not sure if they're in that position to focus on everything else and have such executives that would take that responsibility away from them.
But what you have mentioned is an arrow in the way of the DNA, they recruit. As a CEO, and I've been a couple of times as a CEO, I'm not hiring a person that I should look after him. I pay him plenty of money
Yeah.
to do his job. What his job is to take from me, from the CEO, for example, the IT issue.
Yes.
Okay, why me as a CEO should look after the CIO, the CSO, the CISO, whatever? If he doesn't know his work, I will replace him. That's one thing. Secondly is the organizational DNA. And it's a very difficult, very big, and very deep subject. On the surface, the organization DNA is the one that really can forecast the company's success.
For that, you need to have all the pieces in place to have such predictable forecast, right? So
Yes.
if things like I'm thinking also like how those CEOs got to their position, right? In many cases, you have founders that were directly working with the end users. Then they brought assistants and started to manage them to provide the same value. And then the organization gets bigger. Now they have to now not work directly with specialists. Now they bringing management talent to tell the train the trainers, basically oversee execs to oversee their departments to deliver the same value. So I guess that also requires mind shifts, and not every founder has that proper mindset and willing to adapt and change to be a CEO that is more operational, meaning like not operational, like they're more like I always somehow look at founders, most of the founders, as composers. They create, right? Like Steve Jobs, he was a composer. He was like up and down all over the place, free thinker. He was able to share all this vision with Tim Cook, who is not necessarily a composer, but he is good at being a conductor and oversee and grow the company to where it is today. So I guess not every founder is able, or their makeup. Like we see in many cases where once a company goes public or it's taking the company to the next level, the founders usually step aside and they bring somebody else that is able to.
Well, yes, that's why Steve Jobs and like him, there are several during the history, like four brothers and others. We are talking about the majority. Now, that's fine. If you are the owner of the company and you take technocrats that know how to coordinate, and by doing that you're losing money and you feel good with this, continue. I will not hold you back. If you, as a board of directors, shareholders, whatever, if you want to do or to combine a couple of things together, first of all, amplifying the company value, amplifying the company results, and leave a mark, a positive mark in this world, you cannot think in the same way that we work until today. Therefore, if you want to make something, then you need to change your mindset. What worked before the COVID cannot work after the COVID. And still, we are so connected to the old way of thinking, even in the universities, that they are still giving the knowledge, the same knowledge like it was before the COVID. Therefore, there is no doubt that everybody is stuck on the same concept. What I suggest, everything changed. Change your company. Change your mindset. And one thing that I do when I work with CEOs and with top executive, I change the mindset to bring them more up-to-date concept that by implement this, they will be able to amplifying their company value and really do something with ethical business, more value throughout the entire value chain for the benefits of the society.
Yeah, and I see for sure a need in that, right? As mentors, not being too close to the picture, you're able to have them step back and reflect on what's going on and show them the bigger picture, which totally changes how they take the business as next steps. So, can we dive into a concept of business and spirituality? Right, you're writing your books. One of the books, that's the last one, or the one that you were still working on. Did you?
No, I finished
before
this
God
book.
created the business.
Yes, the name of the book is "And God Creates the Business First."
Yes.
I have another book in the pipeline that concentrated only sales, but my book "And God Creates the Business First" speak about ethical businesses. Now, why I started this? In the past, we, the community, was on the top of the pyramid. And businesses, those tiny things, even that I produce my own food, I really consume whatever I need. So we were on the top of the pyramid. And since the 17th of last century, the pyramid start change. Today, we are a new slave because we are in the bottom of the pyramid and we all work for the business success. Everybody is concentrated on S&P 500, in stock exchange, in shares, all this stuff. But what about our life? What I want to achieve by writing this book is bringing or to highlight the concept is that God create us. And businesses should serve us. Instead that we will serve, the business must serve us. And the UBC, by looking on the end consumer through the value chain, the UBC is one tool to create this mindset shift. But ethical as a whole, business ethics, and being ethics in your business with your employees, with your stakeholders, can give you a huge advantage. And you can take part in creating a better world.
Yeah.
That's the purpose of my book.
Yeah, so when I hear the word ethical, that's one of the values, right? The principle. When I hear
Yes.
spirituality, it's also one of the principles. But at the same time, when you say this person is spiritual, in my mind, it's right away multiple things, right? You right away know that this person has compassion. You right away know that this person is very strong with holding the anger, not being explosive, right? Very collected, very set, has a strong foundation, right? Also kind, also probably knowledgeable in people, like their intuition is very good, right? They also know that there's the inner side produces the outer, right? So like the idea of compassion, empathy is to understand that everybody has skeletons in the closet. You can't just see fault in others and go for it, or like you said, the ethical, it's not just integrity. It's for a company, to me, it's like not just focusing on the profits and squeeze everybody and step all over everybody to meet that bottom line. Like you're saying, it's S&P 500 and where we are with so basically finding that balance. So is that what you implying so like if we working with the teammates, the whole leadership approach, recruitment, environment, how we engage our employees, our marketing approach, sales, basically you're bringing the inner aspect?
Yes, and more than this. When I wrote the book, I returned back to the source. And the source are the holy books. I investigate the major religions in the world: Christianity, Judaism, Islamic, and Hindu. And you can find very common things. Everybody speaking about the same things, about being an ethic person, bringing value. And when I check it through the business, I found, for example, Christianity talk about compassion, Judaism speak about corporate social responsibility. Back then, they spoke about it. Islamic, for example, speak about ethical investment. Our grandfather gave us a gift that for thousands of years, billions of people, we lived under the same holy books, under the same rules. Only in the last 15 years, 40 years, everything changed. So the question is why? And my answer is as follows. Until this, I remember myself sitting together with my family at dinner. Before that, our parents and their parents sitting around the fire and talking one each other and consume only the things that they are really needs. But today, we are not family-centric. We are social media-centric. And we buy because businesses use an aggressive marketing campaigns with psychology tricks, not to force us, but to bring us into a situation that we will buy more than we really need. What happens then? We buy more, we need to earn more money, businesses create more money, and we are going down.
I see. That's where what you mean by ethical. So you're not necessarily over-provoking, not tempting, knowing the hidden psychology tricks to
No tricks.
create more profits for the company, focusing more on producing true value for the whole chain.
Yes, do you know
Wow.
there are so many problems in this world. Every place that you will analyze, there are plenty of problems. Poverty, climate changes, wars, all over the world. So I ask myself, why businesses should focus only on forcing you, by legal aspects, but it's actually forcing you to buy more from their product instead of thinking and acting by being an innovative company that innovates solutions to the society well-being. Okay, for example, there are problems with, I have 4 kids, all of them has a ADHD, big issue. So why not finding a true solution that will solve their problem instead of giving them pills? Why not take the technology into and create sophisticated and very easy to use solutions that first grade kids that suffer from this will be able to handle his problems? Now, in every aspect of our life there is problem, but companies should think ethically on one hand, and on the other hand, entering, implementing, adopting the innovation concept in every step that the businesses act, do, think, and work.
You made me think of one of the laws we have of kosher about the fish.
Yes?
It says that the fish that has fins and scale considered to be kosher. And later the Talmud came, that's oral Torah, and says that any fish that has scales guaranteed to have fins. So in reality, you need only scale. Kosher means it's okay to consume it, right? So we know any fish that has scales guaranteed not to be poisonous. Yet that we're like going deeper into oceans and we still cannot find such a fish that has scales and would not be okay to consume. Now, question is, why Torah wastes words, the Bible wastes extra words on saying that it also has to have fins? Just say any fish that has scale, you're good to go, right? So the sages basically explain to us that fish is a person. Scale, it's a protection. What's a protection for a person is integrity. So integrity protects us, right? Being ethical. Now, fins, it's to navigate. That's ambition, right? So Torah says that the person is not good enough for you to be just ethical, because then you don't really need anything. You're not going to interact with the world. Torah wants you to be ambitious, and but at the same time, you got to have scale. You cannot just be ambitious. So right now, unfortunately, our schools, since I guess the creation of schools, I don't know when that happened, when they also introduced high schools and colleges and so on, there's a tremendous focus on ambitions. You got to go, you got to conquer, you got to achieve, you got to be the top. How do you get to the top? You got to show the bottom line. It's all about the bottom line. So it's all ambition. But ambition doesn't mean it's kosher. You got to have being the component of being ethical. The integrity. So you got to have both.
Yes.
In order to do that. So you made me think of this example that, how our education system is not set up to bring this. So us have to exert tremendous energy to guide, mentor people to see that. Like when you making somebody step back and look at the whole chain and showing them how they can bring the UBC to their picture, and how they don't have to worry so much about the bottom line because it will take care of itself when you position it in such a way that everybody gets benefit, including the whole world.
Yes, because business, we are human beings. And we would like, and we are seeking for businesses and to do businesses with trustworthy persons. We are seeking for trust. Now, when you as a business put the profit aside, listen carefully what happened. Forget about the profit. Be ethical. Bring more value. Cooperate with your value chain partners. Help them to earn more money. Bring them more valuable solutions. Think about the end consumer. The profit will come. That's why when I work with a company, I try to emphasize the trust issue. Nowadays, nobody believes to no one. There is no trust, especially when you are dealing with a young salespersons, not from our age. I work plenty with a young salesperson here in the United States. One common thing to all of them. They are eager to earn fast. I want my bucks now. I will push you to the wall, just sign the contract, and then I forget you. I want my bonus. And they're losing money. Yes, maybe it will take longer, but you can create a trust relationship. And I will give you an example from my own life here in the United States about the books. I work with a publishing company, and I have an agreement, and they did not fill the agreement. I expected that the manager will come and say, listen, we did not stand what we have agreed. I will give you something extra. Instead, they charged me another couple of thousands of dollars. What I did, I went to another publishing, and now my next book, I go immediately to my current publisher and not the one that I worked before. Why? Because there is no trust. Now think about the money that he lose when he didn't work under the trust law. And we just need to return back to the holy books. That's everything. That's all what we need.
Be less transactional, be more relational.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, it's not only them losing you, they could possibly get a negative review, which will stop future potential customers to do business with them. In addition to that, you're an influencer. You're out there speaking, you're talking to everyone, people buying your books. They see who the publisher is. They can ask you for your advice where to publish. All those referrals that you could have bring them if they would do just the right thing.
Yes.
And so they're basically short-sighted, small thinkers.
Because
they didn't see the whole chain.
They didn't saw the entire chain, and they create an untrusted relationship.
Great example.
And so you lose money. Why? Because of a couple of $1,000 right now, but you lose $10,000 for my next book.
Yeah.
So what is the calculation? I can't understand, but that's the reality nowadays in the United States. And that's what all the consultants that believe in ethical businesses, that believe in creating good, that believe that businesses should improve their value, we, you, myself, and the others should work on this.
So somebody who's not a big organization yet, but they do have already teammates in place, they're not starting from scratch to think about the whole chain and come up with the processes and how they're going to guide everyone in the organization to service the world. What would be the first area you would recommend for someone to look at in order to start bringing UBC into organization? Which area would start first?
Find your purpose.
As a leader or...
As a leader. As a leader. Moses took us and bring us to Israel, to the holy place. The manager, the one that leads the company, should, together with his close circle, with the top executive, maybe with the entire business, if he can do it, find the purpose, find the company purpose. That's your lighthouse. That's the first thing and the most important thing down the road. When you have the lighthouse, you know where you want to approach. And the lighthouse do not speak about profit. That's the first stage. Then creating the UBC. Those two are the North Star of your entire company. Now, it's a process. It's a long process. Step by step, you implement those things inside the organization by workshop, by training. You add ethical training. You, as a leader, as a CEO, as the top executive, as a leader of a team, should work based on those values, based on this lighthouse, the UBC, and slowly but surely it will entering into the organizational DNA. It's a long process. I can assure you from my experience, if you find your purpose, create your UBC, it's a process of a couple of weeks. And then for 3 months with external consultant, work on implementing this, your business results will improve after a quarter.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fact. Okay?
Interesting.
And your branding will be better. Your stakeholders will see you in a better light. Everything is changed.
Yeah. So mentors would assist with that because, again, being a leader and involved with day-to-day, already the plate is full, so much going on. You need to find a way to step back from all this. Again, everything has a purpose, right? It's a concept that everybody says, but to tap into it, to really understand that everything in this world has a purpose, right? I'm holding a pen. Somebody created this pen with the purpose of writing. If the pen would be dancing right now, that's not the purpose it was created for.
Yes.
So most likely I would not use it because it's not fulfilling the purpose that it's doing, right? So a lot of us basically doing stuff in this world without really thinking like what really talks to me, right? Again, going back to tapping into your like true desires. Am I doing what I'm doing because I want to, because I desire? Why did I start this business in the first place? Where did I want to go? Because we forget why we chose business as a vehicle to bring us somewhere, whatever we wanted to achieve in life, and got carried away with day-to-day stuff, and ultimately a lot of us fall into a trap being transactional.
Yes, that's why I think that each one of us, if we speak about the spiritual world, each one of us should find and write a statement that will emphasize his purpose, his personal purpose, why you are here, what do you want to achieve. You start your life when you're born and you will end it when you will pass away. In between, what value do you bring to this world? What is the purpose of being here? That's one step. The second step is the business. And when the business finds its purpose, like when a person finds his purpose, his life becoming better.
Yeah. Business, again, becomes a vehicle to get you to that, right?
Yes.
It's just a tool.
It's just a tool.
We're using a tool for us to materialize the purpose why we came here. And business is not a separate thing, and it should not rule us, right? I guess people looking for that work-life balance, but in reality, it's you just got to position everything in such a way that business serves your purpose. Not
Yes, let's return back. That's what I
Yeah.
told you before,
Yeah.
that we are serving the businesses instead that the businesses will serve us.
yeah.
So we
Wow.
need to be more ethical businesses. We need more businesses that know their purpose, that are as a mission to bring more value to the entire value chain, to the benefits of all the parties
Yeah.
that are playing in the value chain, and thinking about creating good to the world and combining everything together. I believe that we will have a better and healthier society.
Yeah. I also see when you mention lighthouse, it's by introducing the concept of desire, purpose, UBC, we creating intentional growth versus everybody's growing, but they're all over the place, right? Versus, okay, this is where I'm heading. How I'm going to get there? Is that ethical? Is everyone in the value chain benefits, right? Make sure
Mhm.
UBC is
Yes.
so if you just maintain on that, you save on marketing because you know exactly the target, the segments, what the value proposition aligned with UBC is to them and everybody else that's aligned. So it helps you with your sales. It helps you with your teammates. Everybody feels that they making an impact. Like says, sky's the limit from there, right? So,
Everything.
wow.
But we need to change our mindset, think more ethical, find the lighthouse, implement those, create an innovative solution that bring a positive impact, and being kind each other. And by doing that, what we will live in the end is a better world for us and especially for our children.
Hmm.
And that's our goal, to have a better life.
Yes. Anything you want to touch on? Because we're coming to an end of the podcast. Anything you want to share that we didn't touch on and you wanted to express?
There are so many things that I would like to emphasize, but I think that in the end, if you're one of your audience, each one of them will just be more ethical, think more ethically, bringing innovative solution. And by doing this, he will be able to earn more. He will be able to contribute to the world something positively. And we all as a society will be in a better place. I did my part.
Awesome. So how one would find you? We'll include the links below this video.
First of all, my LinkedIn, Dr. Amir Kahani. Secondly is by entering into www.keyideas.ai. Welcoming and more than welcome to connect through LinkedIn.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Kahani.
Thank
for
you very
joining
much,
us.
Bo. Thank you.
Thank you.